main reason we came together, Pinterest, we've been highlighting Pinterest and doing Pinterest for clients for a long time. It's first time having the chance to do a webinar with them. And in our brainstorming session, first one, we said, we really want to get people to understand that just because Pinterest is lumped in with other social platforms, it's not really a social platform. It's a bit of a search engine. And can we just talk about that? And Alex loved the idea. We got Caitlin to join us in putting this together. And we're excited to just kind of look at things through a different lens. Do quick introductions. My name is Nick Rajpal. In a month from today, it will be my 15-year anniversary here at Exclusive. I joined the company when we were doing projects, and I was brought on to convert our business from projects to services. I developed our SEO program, Google Ads, Amazon, conversion testing, email. I built out our strategy team and started to develop us as a holistic agency. After several years of building up those teams and those channels and our workflows and our technology, I moved on so that I could just work with net new clients and figure out the strategy of, if I understand your business, here's what you should do. And now that 10 years ago, there were like 6 core channels, and today there's 15, trying to get that channel mix and your marketing mix right has become even more important. So it's been quite a journey for us. And I'm also the host of our webinar series. Come back, we do one every 2 weeks.
Man, that's hard to follow up now with my side. So, yeah. So my name's Caitlin Kerr. Well, I guess I should go back. I skipped over me, but that's okay. But I've been at Exclusive for about 4 years now, which is crazy. So I started when the social team was really just the inception of it, and now it's just grown tremendously. So as a social media manager at Exclusive, I really partner with all of our specialists to help them with client growth, not only on the Pinterest side, but also Meta, LinkedIn, TikTok. I mean, you name it, the list goes on and on. So definitely excited to talk more about Pinterest as a search engine today with you all.
Hey everyone, so my name's Alex Thomas. I'm an agency partner manager at Pinterest. So typically what I'm doing in my day in and day out is helping agencies like Exclusive find success for their partners using the platform. However, when I'm not doing that, I'm found snowboarding every single weekend in Utah. I noticed we had 1 or 2 Utah attendees, so that's cool. And then other than that, just traveling for live music events in the summer.
Amazing. Well, I'm gonna start us off here. Well, Alex, we're here because we wanted you guys to help everyone in the e-com space understand that Pinterest has a pretty strong dedication to e-com, but also that some of the things that they believe about e-com are really not right. So let's kick off a myth and reality section if we could.
Cool. Yeah, so I can take over here. The first topic of today's webinar is going to be what Pinterest means for e-commerce. And a really good way to do this is to kind of look at some of the myths and realities out there about Pinterest. So the first myth here is that Pinterest has limited viable channels. Now, what that means is that a lot of brands believe that they can only find success on Pinterest if they're in the wedding space or a home decor retailer or things like recipes and fashion. However, that's not true. The reality there is that it's a great option for so many different verticals. They wouldn't come to mind right away, but things like automotive and financial services, amongst so many others, do really well on the platform. So the second myth is honestly a really big myth. I run into this all of the time. And it's that Pinterest is only a platform to reach the female demographic. Now, while this myth might have been true when Pinterest was first conceived, over the past few years, we've seen a much more diverse demographic on the platform. As of right now, about 25% of our US users are male, and that equates to about 23.1 million users. So we have a really good and large scalable opportunity for the male demographic. Now, a little bonus stat here on demographics. A lot of people in the luxury space come to Pinterest because they know that Pinterest over indexes with higher household incomes. About 40% of our US users have a household income above 100K. And we also over index in rural and suburban areas. So it kind of provides a flexible, unique opportunity compared to other platforms for reaching your target audience. Now, the last myth of today is that Pinterest is only a good solution for brand awareness. The reality here is that Pinterest works really well as a full funnel solution. So everything from awareness through consideration through conversions. In fact, 83% of our pinners have made a purchase based on branded content they saw on Pinterest. So we're here to crush those stereotypes and take a look at some of the data related to that.
Yeah, so one of the first case studies we'll look at today is with one of our clients called Kalini Coastal. And so some background on Kalini Coastal is that they offer a unique coastal-inspired decor that is very timely and seasonality specific. So an example was during the holiday season, one of our big objectives was to drive seasonal sales. And to do this, we had kind of three different approaches in terms of our actions. The first one was Pinterest trends audit. So first determining, okay, what is trending in the space? And then how do we utilize those trends to really make sure that our pins and our targeting are in line with what people are searching for? Second thing that we did was then figure out the holiday keywords to target. So with them being in the home decor space, one of the big holiday decor searches within Pinterest is holiday decor, obviously. So what we did was really build out our strategy of keywords around holiday decor, coastal holiday decor, holiday entertaining. So quite a few different keywords all lumped into one ad group to really help us make sure we're fine-tuning and narrowing in on a specific audience. And then lastly was making sure that our pins spoke to who we're targeting. I think that's super important when you are being more personalized in your approach. So for this example, what we had was we created a holiday specific pin that really spoke to holiday decor, holiday home decor, and really just put it all together with what we were targeting in terms of keywords, and then also making sure that our pin was also holiday specific. So with that kind of approach, what we saw in terms of kind of the results was a 27% increase in the click-through rate for our holiday specific pins compared to that of evergreen pins that we have running in the account. So very significant increase. The other increase that we saw was a 29% increase in our ROAS with the holiday specific pins that we tailored towards our keyword targeting compared to that of evergreen pins that were tailored towards more evergreen keyword targeting as well. So such a big win with combining both keywords and your pins to really make a big difference in their holiday revenue growth.
Perfect. Thanks, Caitlin. Those were great call outs there. And we'll get into that later in the webinar here, but moments are very important. Just keep that in mind. So to pivot a little bit, looking at some of the adoption for e-commerce brands over the past few years, we've seen really large strides being made in the space because we've been investing pretty heavily in the shopping suite, a bunch of our shopping products over the last 3 or 4 years. So our Senior Vice President of Engineering, Jeremy King, stated that at Pinterest, our goal is to turn inspiration into action. And our vision for shopping is to make it possible to buy anything pinners are inspired by on the platform. Now, these key stats that you see here, they definitely show some of the strides that we've made since introducing shopping in about 2019. So in 2021, the number of pinners engaging with e-commerce products on platform grew over 215%. So really large strides there. And then when we look at Q1 of 2022, the number of advertisers or brands that were linking their e-commerce catalogs to their Pinterest business account increased by 87% year over year. So with those two things, like this is due to the fact that 89% of our weekly pinners use the platform for inspiration when they're shopping, pushing them through their path to purchase there. Now, rather than just adoption for e-commerce brands and shopping solutions, Pinterest is continuing to innovate in many different facets inside the e-commerce world. So in 2023, Pinterest is investing in positivity, personalization, and planning tools for our users, for our advertisers, and our agencies. So some of those new innovations include personas and moments targeting, so new targeting inputs, Pinterest Academy, which is an e-learning solution, interactive ad formats like quiz ads, lead ads, and showcase ads that will be rolled out later this year. We're also investing in video. So video shopping ads are going to be something we're looking to release this year as well. Travel shopping catalogs for any travel advertisers that are looking to drive bookings. And then our API integrations. We want to make it easy for all integration partners so that you can get set up on Pinterest really easily. So if there's one thing personally that I'd like you to leave with today, it's the idea that Pinterest is not just a social media platform. As Nick said in the beginning of the webinar, right? It's primarily a visual search engine. So inspiration is personal and visual. Our users, they're looking for a visual representation of their ideas and the products that they're looking for. And our visual AI technology helps drive them from finding that piece of content, discovering these new brands, products, and services, and driving them to action. So as a layman user of Pinterest, functionality begins entirely as a search-based experience.
Yep, and perfect segue into how we want to cover, whether it's a good fit for your business. But really quickly, Katya has asked whether this will be recorded. Yeah, it is being recorded, and everyone's going to get a PDF copy and a recording within 48 hours. So for any webinar you join or sign up for, it's exclusive, you always get that. So before we start to distill the customer journey down into the way that we plan things for clients and give everyone here an idea of how they can assess the fit with their business, can you talk a little bit about like the complexity of the journey right now?
Yeah, 100%. So before we look at actually like the ways that we can adopt a Pinterest marketing strategy, it's really important to understand how the path to purchase works on the platform. So as you can see on the slide here, like essentially a purchase starts with some sort of planning trigger. For example, on the left side there, you might be moving into a new home or a new apartment. So then you go to Pinterest and you search for bedroom ideas. And then you're researching, you're scrolling on the platform, organizing pins into boards from there, and you come across a Pinterest ad for bedding. What that does, it actually helps you achieve why you came to the platform, right? Whether it be organic or paid content, that's the reason you came to Pinterest, is to find that bedroom inspiration and potentially find new bedding. So from there, you act on that inspiration and purchase the bedding product that you saw on your feed that matches your style. So essentially throughout every step of this journey, brands have a really good opportunity to connect with Pinterest users every step of the way, right? It's not linear. It could be at the beginning or closer to the end of that path to purchase. So when we look here at this kind of web of our inspired purchase journey, there's ever growing touch points in a customer's purchase journey. A lot of the times on Pinterest, the process is much less linear. as shown in this web here. So our research shows that even with all of the typical touch points in a modern journey, one of the constants is Pinterest. So where people are coming back to the platform throughout this journey, we move them from inspiration to refining their ideas, back to inspiration, and then finally to a purchase. So just keep in mind, it's not linear, and that Pinterest is the constant here in that path to purchase.
So now comes the question as to, okay, how do we connect with users? And so when you think about it in terms of the framework of really just aligning our audience targeting with the customer journey. And so you can see here through audience targeting of awareness, consideration, conversion, loyalty, we utilize different tactics with audience targeting to make sure we're hitting the customer where they're at in their journey. Starting with awareness, and with consideration, you're utilizing those interesting keywords as ways to get in front of users that are searching for that specific product or specific inspiration. And then through the conversion and loyalty, is that when you start to get back in front of those users with pins that really get them to make an action or take an action from your pin. So throughout this journey, we really are able to connect with users and really help them through their customer buying process.
Perfect. Thanks, Caitlin. So as a general best practice here, activating along the full consumer journey is the most effective strategy on Pinterest. As Caitlin just walked through, the different targeting inputs for awareness through conversions. We've also ran some studies to see, versus one objective and a full funnel strategy, what's going to provide better results. So our studies showed that if you are running several objectives, so awareness plus consideration or full funnel, you can actually reach incremental ad viewers. You can increase repeat sales here and also increase conversion rates.
That brings us to one of the conundrums in e-com today, which is, we know that so many channels are at play at the same time to influence buyers. And as Alex already pointed out, it is nonlinear, and we can do a really good job of thinking through, persona A, B, and C. What are all the channels that will be interacted with from awareness to consideration to conversion, etc. With all that planning and that many channels and broken attribution and privacy policies, planning investments has become difficult. Actually knowing where do I put money, what is a channel worth, etc. 15 channels, very difficult. We decided to help e-com and our clients shift that lens a little bit. We say there will always be 5 desired outcomes. When you're doing marketing across any channel, you'll always want to get awareness from cold audiences, consideration, which is someone searching non-branded for your space and you show up. Remarketing to your past visitors till they buy, that's considered conversion. Remarketing to your past customers to buy again, that's loyalty. And then asking for likes, shares, reviews, that's advocacy. And we found that every platform, from Amazon to Meta to TikTok to Google to Pinterest, has been thoughtful already. They already created ad types. They already thought of audience ways to sequester and target awareness, and then consideration, conversion. And now we can go to any e-com business and say, what's our awareness strategy? What's the investment level for the month? What's the return that we want? And hey, we know all the audiences and ad types across all the channels that we're going to fire off at the same time. That's more powerful than it's ever been. One of the questions, though, is, well, what should I be investing in? Like, should I invest in awareness for my brand? Or, I've always been an SEO person. Should I be invested in SEO? And whatever you're drawn to is probably for good reason. So we want to highlight that real quick. E-com is basically split into two different groups. On one hemisphere, we have what we call brand-based journeys. In a brand-based journey, it's fairly straightforward. The moment I want to buy running shoes, I go and I type in Hoka, Brooks, Nike, right? I know the brands. I've been introduced to brands for years. When I want to buy my product, I don't type in running shoes. I already know. If I do type in running shoes, I click on Brook, Hoka, and Nike. That brand means so much to me. There are other spaces where people almost never know the name of the brand that they're buying the product of. They can only describe the category, or it's going to be a one-time purchase, so they would never have needed to know brands. Much of ecom was built on this type of buying. Like anything you can buy is available on the internet. It fostered a lot of search-based journeys. So if you're in a search-based journey, you're always thinking, there's 15,000 keywords that my customers can type in. I want to have great SEO. I want to have a lot of Google shopping. I am a search-based journey addict, and I must be. If I focus on those keywords, I will succeed. If I lose those keyword visibility, I lose everything. I want to zero in and see if anyone here is or can kind of ascribe themselves to this search-based journey. And if you're not sure and you want us to do some work for you, we're going to offer 2 free audits right now. First, from our side, exclusive, and one from the Pinterest side, but still through exclusive. The first is a search fit audit. It's a unique concept. We're saying if you know for sure that organic is important to you, Google Shopping is important to you, and your business runs on that, let us use that to figure out if Pinterest is a good fit for you. First, we'll use SEMrush to identify who your key organic competitors are, list that out. Then we'll study if these competitors are doing a lot of work on Pinterest. How many monthly views are they getting? Are they creating shoppable Pinterest? Then we'll see how strong Pinterest is in your SEO space. How many keywords does Pinterest rank for in Google for your keywords? And then specifically for your website, all the keywords you rank for, how many of those does Pinterest also rank for? And then finally, we're going to use a really cool section of Pinterest called Pinterest Predicts, where they get about 80% of their predictions right. They're predicting where their users are going in the year 2023. And if it overlaps with your business, we want to show up in those trends. That's offer number 1. Alex, can you queue up offer number 2, please?
Yeah. Yeah, so for offer number 2, this is essentially going to look at some of the ratings that we have for readiness to advertise on the platform as far as vertical platform fit. So how good of a fit essentially is your vertical for the platform? Is there a lot of engagement there? And how does that rate on a scale? But a lot of what this is going to focus on is some of your creative strategy and targeting strategies. So things like key moments for your brand, resources for those moments that show how to get in front of the right audience on the platform, keyword and trend packs for that core audience, but also on the creative end, just some best in class creative examples. And then our Pinterest creative team can also build out either 4 static pins or 2 video pins if you do plan on testing Pinterest ads through exclusive in Q2.
This is awesome. So, folks, we're going to run this poll. Both of these are no cost. We have worked really hard with Pinterest and our team to develop these audits just for this particular webinar. So you can say both. That means that we will do this slightly unique approach of seeing whether your organic competitors happen to be pretty gung-ho about Pinterest, or you can just ask for that. That's offer number 1, or you can just ask for Alex's. And if it doesn't fit what you're looking for, then please do click neither. We'll wait till we hit a critical mass on the voted side. And it's interesting, maybe the first 50 people who signed up to the webinar were all other agencies. So thank you guys for coming, but I understand why many of you would also say neither. Not a problem at all. Thank you for filling that out. So we're going to close this out in 3, 2, 1. And a third of you asked for both, which is fantastic. We'll follow up really shortly after this and set everything up so that you know what we're going to do as next steps. But thank you, folks. With that, let's dive into some tips.
Yeah, so I can jump back in here. What I want to provide is just some recommendations for tips on high performing creative on Pinterest. So pivoting from here a little bit, the first tip is going to be aligning to moments on the platform. I did mention it earlier, right? It's always important to keep in mind what moments throughout the year are really important to your brand, but also what moments are happening on Pinterest. So that is going to be our first tip here, and there's a few different moments that I wanted to walk through. So the first moment type is going to be calendar moments. These are moments that are happening, throughout the year and can reflect national, cultural, or religious interests. For example, some of the upcoming calendar moments right now are Earth Day, Easter, prom, festival season. That's Pinterest specific. So you have to take a look at your brand and say, okay, if I already know this is a really good fit, this moment for my brand, how can it align with Pinterest? And then what can we action from there? So looking at the second type of moment, these are going to be life moments. They happen as impactful moments in our lives and present an evergreen opportunity on the platform. For example, things like new home or couple engagements are life moments that are always happening on Pinterest and are being planned on Pinterest. And then the last moment type here is going to be everyday moments. So these are moments that happen, any day of the year, things like date night, couples getaway. But when we look at some of these upcoming moments for April, think things like spring beauty looks or outdoor adventures. We're moving out of winter into spring, so people are going to be searching for those types of things, as well as sustainable living, right? Totally endemic with Earth Day month. So the second tip for creative best practices is to use strong CTA formats. Pinners, they're turning their inspiration into action. So what we want to do as advertisers is use clear and concise call to actions on creative that help our users essentially go from this discovery phase to a decision. The third tip here is a little bit more focused on the messaging that we're seeing on text overlay. So we do recommend using short actionable phrases like discover now or shop now. As you can see with the example here, shop fall colors, right? That's relevant to a moment and it's a clear and concise call to action. So that really falls in line with our best practices here. And what we see is better conversion rates essentially if we're having these sort of text overlay messaging on our creative. And the fourth tip is going to be going beyond static formats. So we have a lot of other ad formats on the platform, things like carousels, collection pins, idea ads, shopping pins. And if it makes sense for your brand or your objective and product, I do recommend exploring a little bit further from just your standard static or standard video. So just looking holistically here at some of the different ad formats, we do have our standard static and video pins. This is typically what brands will start out with on the platform. Don't be tricked, these formats do perform really well, but a lot of the times based on your objectives, some of these other ad formats are gonna be a really good fit. Things like max width video for an awareness takeover on the platform, or carousel pins in the middle there, where you're swiping through each card and can show different images. Product pins makes a lot of sense if you have, an e-commerce catalog added to your Pinterest account, where you could have dynamic pricing on each pin. And then our newest ad format, which is idea ads, released in summer of last year. These are going to be more of that full screen viewing experience. Think similar to Instagram Reels or TikTok, where we have that short form video, but the inspirational version of those.
Awesome. And so I want to point out real quick why we want to talk about boosting performance. We are a performance agency, which means that we take a fairly fiscally conservative approach to marketing. We want to make sure that we increase the health of businesses. It's why in 2008, when the economy really came to a halt, it was the first time we made it into the Inc. 5000, and we made it into the Inc. 5000 for 10 of the next 12 years. It was also my first year here, and we started working together on marrying marketing data with financial modeling to get even more conservative. I say that because I know what people are going through right now, and everyone's looking at their investments and wondering, can I afford to keep doing moonshots and branding? How can I tighten things up across every channel? So even when you're in Pinterest, where you're using all of the tools, we wanted to cover a few things that can get you more efficiency, get you more control, because performance potentially means you either keeping or losing some of your employees at this point. So we wanted to cover this real quick.
Yeah. So first thought, after thinking about creative, now thinking about audience targeting. And so on Pinterest, there's quite a few different ways they can go about with audience targeting. And here we have them listed below. So first one is being site visitors. And what you can utilize with this is not only thinking broadly in terms of all site visitors, you can really be specific in your site visitor targeting. You can target based on users that visit a specific category page or specific product. So there's so many different ways that you can really narrow in on who you want to get in front of and make sure that also your creative is catered towards that audience as well. The other one is customer lists. So you can upload different customer lists to Pinterest, whether that be your past purchasers. You can also integrate with Shopify with some audiences there as well. So quite a few different avenues that you can take to really make sure that you are getting back in front of users that have shown intent to purchase from you. The other audience targeting is engagement. So one thing with Pinterest is a lot of users stay within the platform and really engage with your pins on the platform. So for example, when you first see a pin, a lot of times for myself, especially, I like to save it to my board. So with engagement, you can re-engage with users that have saved pins to their boards or any kind of engagement that they have taken within your pin. So it's just another avenue for you to just have another touch point to get back in front of them and get them to the site. The other one is an act-alike audience. So act-alike is a percentage of the US population that's most similar to your existing user. So an example of an act-alike audience could be a 1% act-alike of past purchasers. So really it's finding users that have similar attributes or similar qualities of your past purchasers and really just finding users, cold users that are similar to those in that realm. So there's the act-alike opportunity there. And then lastly, the other two, interest and keywords. So interest targeting, there's quite a few that you can choose from on the Pinterest side. So some examples are men's and women's fashion, there's home decor, there is beauty, there is, the list goes on and on. There's so many different interests that you can choose from on Pinterest to make sure you are aligning with users that have the qualities that are going to make a purchase from you. And then the last one is keyword targeting. Tons of different keywords. I was just going through some keywords this morning and looking at what keywords are trending right now. And unsurprisingly, spring keywords are trending. So spring outfits, spring nail color. There's just so many different keywords that are trending and that you can utilize with targeting to make sure you're narrowing in on your exact audience and making sure you're getting in front of users that are going to convert at a very efficient rate for you. So those are some of the different audience targeting that Pinterest offers. Another thing that we will talk through is keyword strategy. So keyword strategy is very, very, very important. It really helps you in controlling kind of where your ad lies in searches. So Pinterest has one goal. It wants to deliver its users the best possible content for each search query they do, which means having a strong keyword strategy is super, super important in getting your ad to be seen by the right users at the right time. So like I said, making sure that you have a very, very strong and robust keyword strategy by utilizing phrases. You can utilize exact matches. You can do negative keyword targeting. So there's quite a few different avenues with keyword targeting to make sure that you are, again, either narrowing in on specific searches or using broad matches to really reach a wider audience. It really just comes down to your strategy in terms of targeting. So one example that I have here is if you're promoting living room furniture, try targeting people that are searching for living room decor, home decor ideas, instead of targeting such as like interior design as a more broad search there. So really just honing in on those searches and really being mindful of that. And then the last thing I wanted to talk through is using tools like Pinterest Trends. So most of the time, users arrive at Pinterest with a specific goal in mind. They're searching for inspiration, they're searching for advice or ideas, and then they type in that specific keyword to find relevant content. This is super important because you really want to make sure you're utilizing the right keywords to make sure your pins are coming up in those searches. But how do you know which ones to use? And so 2 words for you, Pinterest Trends, something I use daily. And it not only helps with kind of your paid planning, but also with your organic planning as well. So it helps you learn when people start searching for various keywords, helps you find those moments before they're actually moments on Pinterest. And really helps you discover what's popular, what's upcoming. And you can utilize those things that you find with Pinterest Trends to really create a content plan, like I said, not only for your paid, but also for organic strategy as well. And you can utilize it across a lot of different campaigns, email, SMS. So quite a few different avenues that you can utilize Pinterest Trends in your ability to make sure you are being personalized with what's trending in the market.
Perfect. Thanks, Caitlin. So another really big topic here is going to be data attribution. Definitely something that comes up weekly for me when I'm meeting with agencies and clients alike. But I just like to share a few tips here, kind of getting into the Pinterest mindset and what we should be looking at when we're actually measuring the success of our campaigns. So the first things first, we want to make sure that we're setting up our attribution window correctly. I've been driving at home for, the last 30 minutes here, but Pinterest users are planners. They're in this discovery mindset. So they're actually going to be showing their intent pretty early before they actually make that purchase. That's important because they're most open to new brands at this phase. Therefore, like if they come across one of your ads and they engage with it, view it, outbound click from it, we should keep in mind that a larger attribution window will give you a better picture of what's actually happening with Pinterest, right? Because they're looking for that inspiration. They might be planning on purchasing 30 days later, but they need to do that research first. So when we kind of look at that in a visual representation here, just showing that pinners, they show their intent really early in their path to purchase. Like I said before, this is when they're most open to new brands and products. So it's the best opportunity to influence those shopping decisions before they get to that purchase point. So as you can see there with Pinterest, we have that opportunity either months or weeks or a few days before that purchase point. Now, when we're optimizing your attribution, it's important to extend across the entire marketing funnel. If we're only looking at last touch, typically, through like Google Analytics, we're actually going to be underestimating Pinterest revenue by about 48%. So it's really important to open those attribution windows. 75% of our US Pinterest conversions happen more than a week after ad exposure. So like I was saying, keep those attribution windows open. But one bonus stat that's not listed here is that Pinterest users, they actually have larger basket sizes when they check out because they've done their due diligence on Pinterest. They know what they want. And we do see, higher average order values from the Pinterest audience compared to other platforms there.
Awesome. Folks, we already have a lot of questions that have come in. So before we go to those questions, we didn't properly introduce Exclusive. We will now. We've been around for 26 years. We were the first online retail agency ever. We manage over 15 different channels. And as we've gone through the Virtuous activity cycle of awareness, consideration, conversion, loyalty, and advocacy, you get a sense of how we figured out how to distill and plan with this ballooning set of channels, but also the depth with which we go into platforms like Pinterest to activate the highest performance possible. So it's a mix of specialization and strategy, all brought together by our own technology. Just before we offer something to everyone, Caitlin, can you kind of highlight maybe just one more win with clients on the Pinterest side?
Of course, we're gonna go out in a bang right here with Duxie. So Duxie, just a little background there is they're handcrafted Danish boots, shoes, and sandals. One of our big objectives with Duxie, and this was last year in the springtime, was really increase quality of new user traffic to the site. And one thing that I really discovered was utilizing Pinterest trends and figuring out moment-wise when spring fashion was really trending. And so with that, I was able to work with their team to create ads and make sure that they were really in tune with the spring relevant moment. So we worked together on creating those seasonally relevant pins, and then from there I utilized the keyword trends and made a list of keywords that were really geared towards spring fashion, so spring sandals, spring boots, and with doing that and utilizing kind of lifestyle imagery that really showcases those products in season and actually showing users wearing those, we saw tremendous results. So first one being that the CPM was 42% less than the CPM on Meta, which allowed us to reach more users at a lower cost. So we were driving a lot more qualified traffic to the site because of the keyword targeting and our creative targeting of driving more users to the site. The other thing was the click-through rate. So the click-through rate was 50% above industry average click-through rate with our pins that were that lifestyle imagery that showcased the spring fashion. So again, that points back to us having a very robust keyword strategy that really leveraged the spring fashion, and then also pairing it with that spring imagery to really hone in and get users to click on the pin and get them to the site to remarket to them and get them to convert. So overall, really, really strong case study from the Duxie side in terms of utilizing keywords and then also pairing it with your creative to drive click-through rates up and get new users to the site.
Yeah, I love that, because when Duxie came to us, they'd gone through a few different agencies and quite a bit of resting on their laurels, and here we were able to identify not just how to do a better job with the channels that they wanted us to focus on, but also kind of expand from there as well. Folks, we're offering a growth plan here. Our growth plan is an interesting process where we go through and we study you and all your competitors and try to figure out, are you a search-based journey? Are you a brand-based journey? What kind of investment should you probably do? We do a 50-point analysis on how you're doing on everything from SEO to email, so inclusive of Pinterest, TikTok, Meta, Amazon, Walmart, SEO, and we start to synthesize that into an actual plan that we would want you to engage in um, if we could suggest what we think is going to grow your business in the healthiest way and the fastest way. We also go through segmentation strategies, which maybe you haven't done in a while, and how we can further that. So it's a nice process. We don't charge for it at all. It is the way that we learn your business. And if you do sign off with us on a partnership, then we can be confident that we can do a great job for you. I'm going to just keep this up as we continue to chat, just in case anyone changes their mind on anything. But we've got a few questions here. Let me go to the top first. Bonnie asked one of the first questions. We offer headsets, IP phones, webcams, and video conferencing equipment at lexair.com. How do you think that type of equipment would do on Pinterest? I'll start off by saying you sound like you're in a search-based journey where people don't always know um, the brand, or they might just know a little bit of your competitors' brands like Polycom, and that they're trying to find the best place to buy online. Probably a lot of search defense and optimization that you have to do on the SEO side, Google Shopping side. If that is the case, then it might be worth doing the search journey analysis and trying to figure out how strongly invested Pinterest already is natively with the type of keywords that you want to show up on. And one of the things that will come from that is if you find out that Pinterest ranks for 50% of the same keywords you rank for, or like 50% of your keywords, but they rank better than you in many of those cases, it already gives you an incentive to find a way to advertise on those keywords because Pinterest is a neutral party that is ranking better than you for your target keywords, and it gives you a chance to introduce your website and bring people back. Um, Caitlin, Alex, any other thoughts on that question?
Yeah, so I would probably assume that you're, selling these types of products to small to medium-sized businesses that are looking for these things or for personal use, right? Just one thing to keep in mind, a lot of the times this type of technology, like promoting this on Pinterest, can do well because people are coming to plan for their small to medium-sized businesses. It's not only for their entertainment, right? Planning for things in their home. They're planning all sorts of things. So if headsets, IP phones, webcams, video conferencing equipment helps them essentially build this small to medium sized business or improve that, they're going to be planning for either that specifically or adjacent interests on the platform.
Awesome. Here's another question from Katya. Our search is mostly done in English. We cover the whole of Americas. Is that something you're aware of, kind of like the language breakdown, Alex?
Yeah, so I mainly work in the US market. 99% of those searches are in English. Some of them are in Spanish as well, but it's a very small portion of that. So anytime we're building that keyword strategy, definitely focus on, English keywords first. But that's a good call out about the Pinterest Trends tool because you can search for trending terms and some of them on the Pinterest Trends tool are not in English. So if it makes sense and it's relevant for your brand, that's where I would go for those kind of like secondary, language recommendations.
That's awesome. Caitlin, anything to add there, or?
No, he hit the nail on the head with that. That's what I was gonna
Okay.
recommend.
Awesome. Yeah, and we look at like Google, for example, Google is typically about 30% of the users are have their browsers set to Spanish in the US. So they're even if they're not searching in Spanish, so we still see an over-indexing of people searching in English even there. Um, Eric is asking a question that Alex, I'm not sure if you're prepared to answer. I'll throw it out there, and if you would like to to have us reach out to Eric later, that's great. But the question is, I've seen reports that there are a lot of bots on Pinterest, which can decrease the value and efficiency of ads. Can you speak to that or ways in which the platform is addressing or mitigating this concern? Any insight there?
Yeah, for sure. So this has been, I guess, a hot topic over the past few months. I know that our team is going to work right now and using their AI technology to sort of like automatically deactivate these types of accounts on the platform. However, I do have an article that I can definitely follow up with on that has like an official kind of like action plan to make sure that we're getting rid of this. But over the past 2 years being at Pinterest, I haven't really seen too many issues running into bots. It's just something that isn't the largest problem right now, but we're making sure to nip it in the bud before it becomes something bigger than it is.
That's awesome. And I think we're all aware that every platform is going to have to now start responding to the AI generation of content. And over the course of the next 12 months or so, we're going to see how platforms respond to it. Like, thinking back to how Google responded to spinner programs back in 2011 by launching the Panda algorithm as a correction there. There's always going to be something that is that has to be done in response. And then we'll also see how regulators come in and start thinking about the proliferation of AI. So that's as bot activity has laid the foundation of AI activity, sometimes valuable, sometimes not valuable. It's going to be interesting to see um, how that changes marketing and our experiences, and then how the platforms respond for sure. I think give us 6 to 12 months, we'll have all the platforms come together and do a webinar on that. Um, Logan Daniels asks a really interesting question, but I don't entirely understand it, and I'm wondering if someone else has heard this phrase. He says, "Can you speak to recipe strategy? How can a brand cut through the noise and stand out in that vertical?" Logan, I'm wondering, is recipe strategy a phrase of how do you get your like recipe of ads correct, or do you mean specifically in the space of people searching for recipes on Pinterest? How can you stand out? The food space, great. Any thoughts, Alex or Caitlin?
So
Yeah,
what I would recommend, oh, Alex, if you want to go ahead and I can
all
add
you.
in whatever. Okay. Well, so my first thought is making sure that you're utilizing Pinterest trends in terms of figuring out kind of what's trending. I mean, for myself, I go on Pinterest all the time for recipes. So just seeing what kind of recipes are trending and then catering your organic strategy and creating pins around that kind of avenue. And then same thing with paid ads as well, is really just honing in on the Pinterest trends. I think that's where you're going to see a lot of success. I'm just looking through kind of the trends right now, and one of the first one I'm seeing right now is food recipes is trending. So I think just really honing in on the Pinterest trends and really figuring that out. And I think too, Alex, if you want to speak to it, I know there is a type of pin format where you can do recipes. I think is an idea pin. I know it's a newer pin.
Yeah, so I can step in here a little bit with our idea pins and idea ads. Idea pin is the organic version, idea ad is the paid. But what I've seen work really well for brands in like the CPG food and beverage space is they're creating these idea ads. And idea ads, you click through them and essentially there's different cards. So each card is one step of the recipe, but within one of those steps, you place the product, whether it be video or static, as a key ingredient within that recipe. Now, when they're promoting it, a lot of the times for Pinterest, they're focusing on moments. So one big thing that happened recently, right, was the Super Bowl. So one way to cut through the noise there for promoting these recipes is setting up an idea ad where your product is necessary to create that recipe for game day, for example. And that seemed to work really well for traffic and conversions as well.
And I'll add the Pinterest predicts side, just that Pinterest predicts is looking at, a collection of a lot of different activities going towards a particular trend. So it's not a keyword trend as much as it is a phenomena that they are predicting. And they'll show you the numbers. They'll say, we believe that the prediction is going to be, hipster decor for your outdoor. I believe that's actually one of them. And they then will go in and show you the percentage increase of search terms and activity for a collection of related keywords and pins that are all coming together. In that Pinterest predict section, which again, historically, Pinterest has had an 80% success rate in guessing, there's probably 4 or 5 food related predictions. So if you want to really cut through the noise, think about what's about to start growing as fast as possible. So that's something we can analyze for you as well if you chose to do the search based audit with us. Clinton's asking, got 2 websites. One website's D2C, one website's B2B. Basically the same products on both sides. Is there a good enough case for B2B businesses who are trying to get people who are looking for procurement of supplies? Will those B2B businesses be on Pinterest searching for those supplies? Is that a good space for Pinterest?
Yeah, so I can hop in here as well. I would be candid and say D2C is definitely the better fit there, but I have seen brands in the B2B space perform well using like third-party targeting data, so things like Oracle audiences, where they're actually selecting, who are the decision makers at these businesses. Oracle provides you with a hyper-focused audience there to run campaigns against, and those are going to be the people that are looking to find suppliers on Pinterest, right? But D2C is definitely a more endemic fit overall.
That was a phenomenal call out. We've seen something similar with Microsoft ads, which obviously everyone is starting to invest more and more in Microsoft, just like they're investing more and more in Pinterest. And Microsoft allows, through the integration with LinkedIn, LinkedIn targeting, and it really changes things in the B2B space. There was only one other question that was asked, but Amanda had to leave um, at at the halfway mark, so we'll reach out to her about that. It's about nonprofits. Folks, thank you so much for asking questions and staying engaged here. Thank you for 57% of you asking for us to reach out for a growth plan, and also over 50% of you asking for us to reach out for either the first audit or the second audit, those offers we had earlier. So we've got a lot of engagement with you guys coming up. We're excited about it. Alex, thank you for helping us put together so much content and for kind of kicking off our first Pinterest. Caitlin, thank you for bringing expertise here. We needed some subject matter experts who are in Pinterest every day. And thank you folks for spending some time with us on a Wednesday. Hopefully we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks everyone.
Thanks all.